What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7 underscore D. Now, here's a book I've already showed you to Blackout Through Whitewash. I'm going to go to page 66, which I didn't highlight before. All right, I'm going to read this. All right. Let me get a good image and a good picture of this, because I want you to see what I'm talking about now. Okay. There's some things she said I disagree with. She keeps using the term African, but, all right, let me get it clear. All right, now here it is. Flourishing more than 1,000 years before Christ. The Olmecs was a parent civilization of ancient America. Colossal monuments of stone heads in Mexico show numerous carvings of them as gods. The faces are unmistakably Africoid, and their hair is plaited or in cornrows. Furthermore, they were Twa pygmies. Many of the gods of ancient Central America are portrayed black with Africoid features. There are many Africoid portraits in stone, clay, copper, and gold, in addition to their early culture's shape and role. The Olmecs were undoubtedly profoundly influenced by black migrants from Africa, Nile Valley. Christopher Columbus himself made emphatic references to black traders from Guinea. Now, I'm going to stop right there for a little bit. I'm going to read some more, but I don't believe they were no black migrants from Africa. I believe these were Negroes who were already over here, and they took their knowledge from here over to Africa. Also, I want to say that what we now call Ghana, you had an ancient, which is in West Africa, you had an ancient Ghana here in the Americas over in South America. So it was always a lot of a parallel from the Americas to Africa. All right. African technology built Mexico's pyramids and more. The reason for the profound similarity between ancient Middle America and Kemet is because Kemet authored the civilization, including Mexico's pyramids. In his scholarly work, Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man, Albert Churchward, a rare honest Aboriginal historian, fully documented, among other things, the African origins of ancient Mexico culture, religion, hieroglyphics, etc. This is a very good book, and I believe he might have been a physician. I'm not totally sure, but Churchward's books are good. He's like Godfrey Higgins as well as Gerald Massey books. They're excellent books. You should get them. There's one of the few white historians who actually tell the truth that the original people were just black. All right, they were just black. All this ancient technology comes from melanated people, so-called Negro people, not white people. All right, not Mongoloids, straight up black people. Let me get it right now. Okay, the Aztecs attribute the invention of the calendar to the greatest god, the black-skinned, woolly-haired Quetzalcoatl. The bow and arrow originated in Africa, from the Twa of Central Africa, who carried it around the world to their migrations. Nubia was called the land of the bow, with its formidable archers. And note the profound similarity between Native American culture with that of pre-albino Africa: drumming, singing, feathers, circle dancing, body painting, love of nature, etc. Now you know why they resemble Kemet text. Why you know why they resemble Kemet text 39,000 BC. Apparently refers to the Mayas, calling them the Hiro Nabu, or people beyond the sea, people from behind the setting sun. As the sun, setting in the west, went down in the sea, the Maya would naturally be spoken of as the people beyond the seas or behind the setting sun. I'm going to stop a little bit there, but I'll go on some more. Remember I said before how the Mayas came from the other side of the sea, how they came from where the land where the sun sets, and they travel to the land where the sun rises over to the east to the other Egypt. Whereas that when you look at some images of Egyptian pharaohs, you see them with stone carved out. This is all done by black people, man, because these black folks carved in stone, it was awesome. But they have stone carved out statues where you see some of them with just the serpent, and then you have some of them with the serpent and the bird. The serpent represents the old land, like I said, and then the bird they have the bird on there, represent the two lands. All right, so you see some images with just one symbol, others with two, and mostly when you see the ones with one symbol, they're talking about the land in South America. All right, so you have uh, Upper Egypt here in Americas, Lower Egypt over in Africa. They once were connected. The lands were connected. The lands really didn't. You couldn't really tell the difference from them being connected until around 40,000 years ago. It wasn't 65 million years ago. It was around 45,000 years ago when the lands really were unable to really walk across. So you was able to probably walk across or do a small sail before they really broke apart around 40,000 years ago when you had to do a long sail. Well, now you have to do sail across a larger body of water. All right, so it Osiris, he rises in the east and then he sets in the west. So Osiris, the sun rises in the east, and Osiris was set, as in Seth, or set in the west. So he'll set in Tai Mare, and it will rise in Kemet. Or Osiris will rise over what we know now as Egypt today, and it was set here in the Americas. So I believe that even the land that you hear like what you call Nubia, the land of Nubia, with the land of the bow, I believe true Tai-Seti was over here in America, because this is land of Set, where the sun set, and the sun rised over in the east, and it set it in the west. So where the sun set at, where the old civilizations at, they went over to the east where the sun was rising, and they brought that technology from where the land was already settled and set at over to the east. All right. Now, when you look at, here's an image of an Olmec. Now, this image here, obviously you see a black man with a damn afro. You can see the damn hairline. All right. But one thing you need to also pick up on, these images will have an animal body and a human form, so they connect the animal body to but with a head of a human. You see that with the Sphinx, and here you see it with the image of the Olmec. So you just see his face right here, but you see the whole image. And I showed it in one of my older videos. The body was may have been a lion, or it could have been the body of what you call Anubis, but with the head of a human. Instead of having a dog, you have a sort of like an animal body with a human head. And here you have right here a Mayan calendar, and you see the head of an individual. You see the individual with his tongue sticking out, and his best with his tongue sticking out. And then meantime, you see image of the Roman soldiers. They have a plate on there with an image of a man with a tongue sticking out. So this stuff was going across the globe. It wasn't just situated over in just Africa, over in Europe, over in Americas. This was global. There was always a cross-pollination of these various different groups. When like I said before, the individuals from America travel over to Africa, and some of the guys from Africa travel over to here. They travel over to Europe. They travel to Asia and the Pacific. I showed you images how the rock carvings of the Mali look similar to the Anasazi over in America Southwest. They were similar because these are the same people. But then you have black people carving in the rock over, I showed you in Australia, how those brothers and sisters was carving into rock. We look at these monuments, even Olmec heads, they carved into rock. So this is a technology that ancestors had, and they had the tools to use it. They didn't use no simple copper tools. I believe they had iron and some kind of ancient machinery. And he obviously has some ancient machinery because there's images or there's actually stone that was carved and it looked like a drill was put in up in there because you can see like when you take a screw and you screw it in like some wood or something, and you see the screw bits and the circles. You see that in some of the stone, man. It's obvious something was drilled in there. They didn't even use no freaking copper. They had iron. They smelted iron and had ancient machinery to build and to carve into this damn rock, man. That is great technology that our ancestors had. I'm going to read further. And this is the open K you usually see with the helmet and like the flap over the ear and the back is the cornrows. I'm gonna say something right here too, man. You get a lot of these mestizos who claim that the Olmecs that we still in their history. Man, get the hell up out of here, man. I said this before in other videos. They have straight hair. The Olmecs rock their woolly. All right, you see all the images. You see them having woolly hair. They did not have straight hair. Now, some of our people do have wavy straight hair, but they have woolly hair. They'll show you an image of a Mongoloid person that obviously had black features in them because modern-day Mexicans are mixed with black, European black, Aboriginal black, some Asian black, non-black Mongoloids, and white folks. That's what they mix with today. And then them features will come out. But to sit up there and say, when you look at them and you try to compare them to the Olmecs, man, they're not the Olmecs because you can just blow that out of the water or just show the afro on their damn heads. And then you look at some of these tombs, they had some of these Negroes with damn thick-ass dreadlocks going down at least probably like 5 to 6 feet of hair. These people are ridiculous. They're not showing you nothing, and they're suppressing history. I'm going even further right here, man. Did Africans also rule all of South America? Yes. According to Peruvian historian Eduardo Habachi, who documents this in his Spanish book. All right. But he asserts, and I'm going to go down. Okay, it didn't go, let me see. He asserts that these Africans were Egyptian invaders. I don't agree with them, Egyptian. I don't agree with that. But seeking Peruvian gold, Aztec murals clearly depicts blacks with natives. First of all, number one, these are all black people, and they were not invaders. All right, the Egyptian civilization originated here. It originated in the land of Ty-Mare. All right, there's various other names, but I'm gonna go right now with Ty-Mare, the beloved land. It originated over here. The black folks took that technology and migrated west. I said this before, I'm going to say this again. It wasn't the other way around. It came from here over to the west. So they took their ancient technology and they built. See, a lot of what these white scholars, what these white scholars have done, as they have done, and I mentioned this in so many videos in the past, they have obliterated and destroyed so many monuments here in ancient America, man, and stole our stuff, renamed everything, and then renamed us, and then stole our identity, man. They have really suppressed and lied about so many things. But unfortunately, some of our people, some of these Negro historians, and some of these Negro black people who went to these HBCU schools or these PWI schools, and they're extremely ignorant because they have been miseducated by Negro or white Jewish teachers. Because a lot of those HBCU schools had a lot of white Jewish teachers because a lot of schools did not want Jewish people teaching at their schools, so many of them end up getting jobs at HBCU institutions. So our people have been miseducated by these people for a long time. And this is something that, to me, it's frustrating because this information is right in front of your face. It's right in front of your face. You get Peru, Heru. I said this before. You get Utah, Ptah. You have Little Egypt over Illinois, where you have Cairo, Illinois, or they call it Cairo. It's in southern part of Illinois, not far from Tennessee. And then you have the area where Moundsville at in Cahokia. You have all these pyramids or great monumental structures here in the Americas going towards the Mississippi River, as well as other rivers. But you don't hear about this. Or a lot of those artifacts, like towards the Ohio River, have been destroyed. And I mentioned that in other videos when I'm talking about the mounds, how they destroyed those mounds and those monuments to pave the way for tall, high skyscrapers now and highways, modern highways. But we did have our own ancient highways here. Like I said, we had long paved streets here. Some of the streets was made out of gold. And a lot of those white folks, a lot of those individuals from Europe knew about this information. And they heard about all the land of gold and riches and everything. The blacks here had that. They had that rich gold, and they was able to carve into the gold. So they used their ancient technology and ancient craftsmanship to carve into gold, into other different structures, and to build. And they took that technology globally. You see this image of Bess, tongue sticking out. The Mayan calendar, tongue sticking out. You see images over in Egypt, or excuse me, not over Egypt, with European soldiers, Roman soldiers with a plate with the tongue sticking out. Individual with the tongue sticking out. This is a global, this was like a global symbolism. It was a global symbol. It wasn't just in one location. So this is why I keep emphasizing the fact that we were global people. We weren't just situated in one location. We traveled, we traded, and we warred amongst each other. And in many instances, we took in wives from other lands, from foreign lands, and vice versa. Some of that was done, I guess, in peace offerings, but that was done where you had a woman from this particular land marry a king from another land, and vice versa. It was always some form of trade. Like I said earlier, I showed you the image of them brothers in Australia with their hair tied up like that. I showed you image from the image that was found in Oklahoma. With a brother bending down in his yogic form with his hair tied to his back like that. He had the plate on his head. We have that. There's too much similarities globally. But when you hear anthropologists and archaeologists and these damn historians trying to say they're isolated, that's ridiculous. They're lying to you. It's all they've done is lie, and they will continue to lie. But this information is right in your face, but you have to go seek it. That's why I can't endorse or support people like Umar Johnson, because he's miseducating you. These Pan-Africans are miseducating you. They're not giving you a full history. They're giving you a bastardized history of melanated so-called black people. They're giving you a bitch-ass history, a distorted history that's been pimped out and then has been basically pacified pacified and then given it to you in a truly watered down way. All right, so our history has been pimped, whored out, pasteurized, and then it's been disseminated back to us, and then we supposed to just take that and believe it. And so many of us believe that we were just brought over here in slave ships, and that information is very inaccurate. It's extremely inaccurate. I'm showing you this because a brother had brought that up on my page, which I knew. I wish I had shown this before, but I showed the picture of the brother with the big afro with the Olmec head, man. In another one of the book, I think that was Ramses III, the father of America. But our history is all over in this country. It's imprinted all over this country. California, Queen Khalifa. You have Timbuktu in California. you get freaking Timbuktu in California, man. And what these white crackers will sit there and tell you that a former slave from Timbuktu named that Timbuktu, California. Shoot, boy, these lying bastards, man. But they've done a lot of lying. A lot of lying. And it saddens me that some of our people are just willing to take this lie. If it doesn't come out of the mouth of a European, of a white man, or someone who's non-black, then they're not going to believe it. I tell you, do your research. Do not listen to these charlatans on YouTube telling you that you from some tribe in Nigeria. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not from no tribe, no Nigeria. You from here. You Negroes put all your eggs over in Africa, but not realizing that your history is right under your damn nose here. Here in Americas. Here in the beloved land. Where the oldest of the black civilizations were at, not Africa. It was here in the Americas, particularly in South America. Like I said before, particularly in South America. All right? And if you notice too, and I want to bring this up, this may be a little bit off subject, but I'm going to bring this up. You notice during the wintertime, if you live in those northern states, how in the wintertime, since you're not going out as much and you're inside and the sun may not be shining or you don't feel the heat as much, you will not be as dark. I'm not saying you're light skinned, but you will not be as dark compared to the person who's in the sun constantly. So a lot of our brothers and sisters who were here, who were in the northern part, they weren't as dark as the one in the southern part. I'm not saying that you didn't have people as dark, but they weren't as dark as in the, like I said, in the southern part of the country. But they still maintain their melanated skin. And they're able to survive in the colder type weather because of the technology of those monuments they build, particularly those mounds they build, to have kept them warm during the wintertime. But like I mentioned before, they had furnaces up inside these mounds. Many of these mounds had furnaces, so it kept them warm during the winter. And the way many of those mounds were constructed, it was constructed in a way that it was able to prevent a large amount of air coming inside them. And you look at some of them, a lot of the walkways are very small. The entrance of a lot of these monuments are very small because many of them people were small. Not all, because you had some taller people who came after them, but many of them original people were smaller, short-statured people. Like Twa type people in size. So, just give you that hint. Just give you that knowledge of our true history. And you need to know that. And I'm going to continue to do more. That's just something I just want to bring up. Continue to study your history, brothers and sisters. Not all black people are African. And like I said, I don't like to say Africans are Africans. Remember, Africa, the continent, was once called Ethiopia, Libya. So it's been called various different names. But I really will hope that you brothers and sisters not put the time out to really study your history. Do not listen to people like Umar Johnson. Do not listen to these Pan-Africans, man. They give you misinformation. And there's some of them who don't know and they just misinform. Then there's others who are just ignorant, and no matter what you say, they just going to continue to say that we're descendants of slaves from Africa and that we just hate ourselves. No, Negro, you hate yourself because you don't have the willingness or the balls to really study your true history because you don't want to get white daddy and mommy mad at your ass, so you can want to continue to get pats in the head and continue to get their tenure from them bastards. Brothers and sisters, we got to wake up, man. We have to wake up. We have to claim everything of ours back. We take it back and don't feel ashamed in doing that. Don't feel any shame in doing that. Really don't. All right, so this is my little morning one on a cloudy day. But I just want to give you that information. Yeah, because a brother came on my page yesterday. Yeah, he mentioned some good information, which I had known, and I mentioned it slightly before, but I thought I'd elaborate a little bit more. But when you look at the Olmecs, G, And you see those afros, because they had afros and rocked the woolly. Anyone who's telling you anything else, claim they look like modern day mestizos. No, the mestizos are mixed with them, but they're a watered down version. They're not the true descendants. The true descendants are the blacks in here in the United States or in America's period. They rocked the woolly. But black people, not all black people came in the woolly, but they rocked the woolly. So um, that's all I gotta say now. I'm gonna try and make another video. I don't know when. I may make one a little bit later on today, but I definitely will make one obviously during the week. All right, because I want to continue to work presenting this a little better. You know? All right, peace and love, brothers and sisters. I love you.